Let's be honest, the most confusing thing about love isn't rejection. It's when a woman clearly feels something for you but acts like she doesn't. One moment, she looks at you like you matter more than anyone in the room. The next moment, she pulls away like she's afraid of being seen. And if you're a man who actually pays attention, that contradiction will haunt your mind. You start asking yourself questions that never seem to end. Is she playing games? Is she unsure about you? Or is there something deeper happening that she's trying to hide? Here's the truth most men never hear. When a woman falls deeply in love, especially a woman who has been hurt before, love doesn't feel safe to her. It feels dangerous because loving you means giving you the power to break her. And that fear can make her act in ways that don't make sense on the surface. You might notice that she watches you when she thinks you're not looking, not casually, but intensely, like she's studying you, trying to understand you, trying to figure out if you're safe. A woman who is afraid to show her love often becomes an observer first. She pays attention to how you treat people, how you react when things go wrong, how you speak about other women, how you handle stress, anger, disappointment. Because before she lets herself fall completely, she's measuring whether your heart is strong enough to hold hers. This is something many men misunderstand. When a woman keeps emotional distance, it doesn't always mean she's uninterested. Sometimes it means the exact opposite. It means her feelings are becoming strong enough that she's trying to protect herself from them. And protection can look like silence. It can look like hesitation. It can even look like indifference. But there are cracks in the mask. You'll see it in the small moments. The way her voice softens when she talks to you compared to everyone else. The way she remembers tiny details you mentioned weeks ago. The way her mood shifts. Depending on how you treat her that day. These are not accidents. A woman invests emotional energy where her heart already lives. The problem is, she may never openly admit that her heart is there. Not yet. Not until she feels safe enough to take that risk. And safety for many women is not about how attractive you are. It's not about how confident you seem. It's about emotional consistency. Can you handle her vulnerability without abusing it? Can you respect her boundaries without losing your patience? Can you stay calm when she pulls away instead of chasing her with desperation? Because the moment a woman senses pressure, manipulation, or emotional instability, her fear grows stronger. And when fear grows stronger than love, she hides deeper. But when a man remains steady, something changes. Her guard doesn't fall all at once. It softens slowly, like ice melting under quiet sunlight. And if you know the signs to watch for, you'll start realizing something most men miss completely. Sometimes the woman who seems the most distant is actually the one fighting the hardest not to fall in love with you. And that's where the real story begins. Because when a woman is in love but scared to show it, her actions start revealing truths. Her words are too afraid to say, and the first sign appears in the one thing she cannot fully control, her attention. Because no matter how hard she tries to act normal, her focus will keep drifting back to you. Not out of habit, but because her heart has already chosen you, even if her fear hasn't allowed her to admit it yet. Attention is the most honest language a human being speaks. People may hide their feelings with words, with jokes, even with distance. But attention always tells the truth. When a woman is secretly in love with you but afraid to show it, her attention becomes quietly magnetic. She may not openly flirt, she may not confess anything, but you'll start noticing something strange, no matter where she is in the room, she always seems aware of you. It's subtle at first. You'll catch her glancing in your direction when she thinks you're distracted, not long enough to make it obvious, but long enough that when your eyes meet, she quickly looks away. That reaction isn't random. It's the reflex of someone who is watching longer than she meant to. A woman who is emotionally invested studies the man she cares about, not because she's calculating, but because her mind keeps returning to the same question. Is he the one I can trust? You'll notice that she remembers things most people forget. A small comment you made weeks ago about a stressful day, your favorite food, a random goal you mentioned once during a conversation that everyone else moved past, but she didn't move past it. Because when a woman loves you quietly, every detail about you feels important, And what's fascinating is that she may pretend those details don't matter. She might act casual when she brings them up. She might say them in passing like it's nothing, but deep down, those memories were stored with care. Attention also reveals itself in how she reacts when other women are around you. Now, understand something important. A woman who is scared of her feelings often refuses to show jealousy openly. She doesn't want to expose how much she cares. So instead of dramatic reactions, you'll see emotional shifts. Her energy changes. She becomes quieter, slightly distant, maybe even colder than usual. Not because she suddenly dislikes you, but because she's fighting a feeling she doesn't want you to see. Jealousy, when hidden, becomes silenced. Another sign appears in conversation. When she talks to you, the world around her fades more than usual. Her responses become deeper, more thoughtful. She asks questions that go beyond surface-level topics. Not what do you do for work, but what made you choose that path? Not how was your weekend, but what actually makes you feel happy? These questions come from curiosity, but also from emotional investment. She's not just talking to you. She's trying to understand the man behind your words. And here's something most men never notice. When a woman is afraid of her own feelings, she may occasionally pull back after moments of deep connection, right after a great conversation, right after laughter, right after eye contact that lasted just a little too long. Suddenly, she becomes distant. Many men panic here. They think they did something wrong, but often nothing went wrong at all. What happened is simple. Her heart moved closer and her fear held her back. This emotional push and pull is one of the clearest signs that something deeper is happening beneath the surface, because indifference doesn't create internal conflict. Only real feelings do. And if you pay close attention, you'll begin to notice something even more revealing. Her effort. Not loud effort that demands recognition, but quiet effort. The kind that only exists when someone truly cares. And that leads to another sign that reveals a woman's hidden love more clearly than words ever could. The way she shows up for you, even when she's pretending she doesn't have to. Effort is the language of the heart. Words can lie. Smiles can be polite, but effort requires energy, time, and emotional investment. And people rarely invest those things unless someone truly matters to them. When a woman is secretly in love with you but afraid to reveal it, her effort becomes quiet but undeniable. She may never say, "I'm doing this because you matter to me." In fact, she might act like it's nothing at all. But if you look closely, you'll notice something different about the way she shows up. She finds reasons to be around you, not obvious excuses that scream for attention, but natural ones. Maybe she suddenly appears in conversations you're part of. Maybe she asks your opinion about something she could easily figure out on her own. Maybe she lingers a little longer after everyone else leaves. These moments seem small, but they are intentional. Because when a woman cares deeply, proximity becomes comfort. Being near you gives her a sense of calm. She may not even fully understand herself. Another form of effort appears in how she supports you. Pay attention to the moments when you talk about your goals, your struggles, or the things you're trying to build in your life. Most people listen politely and move on, but a woman who secretly loves you listens differently. She remembers. Later, she might ask how that project is going. She might encourage you when things get difficult. She might remind you of your own strength when you're doubting yourself, not in a dramatic way, but in a steady, grounding way. This kind of support is powerful because it reveals emotional investment. She wants to see you succeed. Your victories matter to her in a way she may never openly admit. You'll also notice that she tries to show the best version of herself around you. This doesn't mean she becomes fake or pretends to be someone she's not. It means she becomes more aware of how she presents herself. Maybe she fixes her hair when she knows you're nearby. Maybe she dresses just a little more carefully on days she expects to see you. Maybe her energy shifts when you enter the room. These subtle changes aren't about vanity. They're about significance. When someone matters to us, we naturally want them to see our best side. But here's where her fear starts revealing itself again. Right after moments when her effort becomes noticeable, she might suddenly downplay it. She might joke about it. She might pretend it wasn't intentional. You thank her for remembering something important and she says, "Oh, it was nothing." You notice she helped you with something and she shrugs it off like it didn't matter. This is the protective instinct at work. If she openly admits how much she cares, she risks exposing her heart. And for someone who has been hurt before, that kind of exposure feels terrifying. So she hides her effort behind casual behavior. But no matter how much she tries to minimize it, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. She shows up, she remembers, she supports, and she invests energy in your presence. These are not random acts. They are emotional signals coming from a place deeper than simple attraction. Because attraction can be temporary, but effort comes from attachment. And when attachment begins to grow, another powerful sign starts appearing in ways that most men completely overlook. It shows up in her vulnerability, not loud vulnerability that demands attention, but the quiet kind that only happens when someone feels safe enough to slowly open the door to their inner world. Vulnerability is the scariest thing a human being can offer. Anyone can flirt. Anyone can laugh and keep things light. But letting someone see the parts of you that aren't perfect, that's where real emotion begins. When a woman is in love with you but scared to show it, her vulnerability appears slowly, almost cautiously. She won't throw her heart on the table all at once. Instead, she opens small windows into her world just enough to see how you respond. Maybe one day she shares something personal about her past. Not a dramatic confession, just a quiet story about a difficult time in her life. Something she normally wouldn't tell most people. And when she tells it, you'll notice something subtle. She watches your reaction very carefully, not because she wants sympathy, but because she wants to know if you're safe with her truth. Women who have been hurt before become incredibly sensitive to how men respond to their emotions. A dismissive comment, a joke at the wrong moment, or even a lack of attention can make her close that door again instantly. But when you respond with understanding, patience, and calm, something changes inside her. Her guard softens. You may start noticing that she opens up more in private conversations than she does around others. In group settings, she might appear confident, even playful. But when it's just the two of you, her tone shifts. She becomes more real. She talks about her fears, her dreams, the things she rarely says out loud, not because she planned to reveal them, but because being around you begins to feel emotionally safe. And emotional safety is incredibly powerful. For a woman who is afraid of showing love, feeling safe with a man creates a quiet internal conflict. Her heart wants to move closer, but her mind keeps reminding her of the risk. So sometimes, right after she shares something personal, she might suddenly change the subject or laugh it off, or say something like, "I don't know why I just told you that." That sentence reveals more than she realizes, because what she's really saying is, "I didn't expect to feel this, too comfortable with you." Another moment where vulnerability appears is when she asks for your opinion about something meaningful in her life. Not a casual choice, but something that genuinely matters to her. Maybe it's a decision she's struggling with. Maybe it's a personal goal she's unsure about. By asking you, she's doing something deeper than seeking advice. She's inviting you into her internal world, and people don't invite others into that space unless trust is beginning to form. But remember, fear still exists alongside those feelings. There may be days when she seems open and emotionally close, followed by moments when she becomes distant again. This emotional rhythm confuses many men. They assume inconsistency means disinterest, but often it means something far more complicated. It means her feelings are real enough to scare her, because when love becomes possible, the possibility of loss becomes real too, and that awareness can make even the strongest emotions retreat temporarily. But there is another sign that reveals a woman's hidden love even more clearly than vulnerability. It appears in something she cannot fake. The way her emotions react to your presence, and especially to the idea of losing you. Emotions reveal what pride tries to hide. A woman may control her words. She may act calm, distant, even indifferent. But emotions have a way of slipping through the cracks, especially when someone truly matters to her. When a woman is in love with you but afraid to show it, her emotional reactions around you become stronger than she intends. You'll notice it in small shifts. When you're happy and relaxed, her mood seems lighter too. She laughs more easily. Her energy feels warm, almost peaceful. It's as if your emotional state quietly influences hers. But the opposite is also true. If you suddenly become distant or distracted, something changes in her. She may not confront you about it directly, but you'll see a subtle tension appear. Her smile fades faster. Her tone becomes slightly colder. Not because she wants to punish you, but because your distance creates uncertainty inside her. And uncertainty is difficult for someone who is already afraid of their own feelings. Another powerful moment happens when she senses the possibility of losing you. Maybe another woman shows interest in you. Maybe you mention spending time with someone else. Maybe you become less available than usual. Watch her reaction carefully. A woman who truly feels nothing will remain emotionally neutral, but a woman who secretly cares will struggle to hide the shift inside her. Sometimes she becomes quiet. Sometimes she acts slightly irritated for no obvious reason. Sometimes she withdraws completely for a while. Many men misinterpret this behavior as moodiness or drama, but often it's something much deeper. It's emotional protection. If she admits to herself that losing you would hurt, then she must also admit how much you matter. And that realization can feel overwhelming for someone who has been trying to keep her feelings under control. There's another emotional signal that reveals hidden love. Pride disappears when you truly need her. Think about the moments when you're stressed, discouraged, or dealing with something difficult. Most people offer quick words of support and move on. But a woman who secretly loves you struggles to stay emotionally distant during those moments. She checks on you. She asks if you're okay. She offers help even in small ways. And sometimes she shows concern that feels deeper than the situation itself. Because when someone we love is hurting, our natural instinct is to move closer, even if we've been trying to stay guarded. This is why her emotions can seem contradictory. One day she may appear distant and controlled. The next day she's supportive, attentive, and deeply present when you need her. It's not manipulation, it's internal conflict. Her heart is pulling her towards you while her fear is trying to keep her safe. And the stronger her feelings grow, the harder it becomes to hide them completely. Eventually, something else begins to happen. Her behavior around you becomes more protective, not in a controlling way, but in a subtle emotional way that reveals how much your presence has begun to matter in her life. Because when a woman truly cares about a man, she doesn't just think about how he makes her feel. She starts thinking about his place in her world, and when that shift happens, one final sign begins to appear. A sign that quietly reveals that her heart may already belong to you, even if she hasn't found the courage to say it yet. Love that is hidden often speaks through the smallest actions. When a woman is in love with you but afraid to admit it, her behavior will always contain quiet contradictions. She may pull away emotionally, yet still find ways to stay connected. She may hide her feelings with humor, distance, or silence, but her attention, effort, and vulnerability will keep pointing back to you. The key for a man is not to chase or pressure her into revealing everything. Real trust grows in calm environments, not under emotional pressure. When you remain steady, patient, and self-respecting, something powerful happens. Her fear slowly loses its control, and the feelings she tried so hard to hide begin to feel safer to express. So, here's a question I want you to think about. Has a woman ever acted distant from you, yet her actions quietly showed that you mattered more than she admitted? If that's happened in your life, I want you to share it in the comments. Your story might help another man understand something he's struggling with right now. And if this message gave you clarity, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this truth.